Welcome to today's edition of the Pantry Challenge. So I'd like to say thanks to Lucy for hosting us today, and thanks to Planalytics and everybody else's support with this this project. So our Pantry Challenge today, what do we have in the box? We have bread, butter, and we have some marmalade. So what I'm thinking of doing today is do a good old-fashioned bread and butter pudding, but with a little twist. We're going to use the marmalade when we bake it on the top. Afterwards, we're going to just cover it with a little bit of the marmalade. So first of all, I've done all the cracking so you don't have to listen to me waffle on too much. So I've got 4 whole eggs and 4 egg yolks, and then 175 grams of sugar. So all we do is mix that up. And there's a couple of ways you could do this. If you had some cream, you could use half cream and half milk. If not, you can just use milk. So again, traditionally you'd most probably put vanilla in there, but we don't have any vanilla today. So all we're going to do is put 600 mils of cream into this mixture. Just make sure this is all nicely incorporated. And as I said, yeah, if you had some cream, it would be really nice if you did, so say 300 mils of milk and 300 mils of cream. It just makes it a little bit more luxurious. But we're not, we're just going to do it.
So 600 mils of milk in this one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so 4 whole eggs, 4 egg yolks, 175 grams of sugar, and then 600 mils of milk. As I said, if you had some vanilla, or if you had a splash of brandy or some Baileys, you could do that as well.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
And if you really like it, you could put some raisins in there or some almonds or anything like that. If you like that, whatever tickles your fancy, really. Even if you could put some cocoa powder in there. You could do a chocolate one.
We established earlier on, didn't we, and that neither of us like sultanas in our bread and butter pudding.
We don't. That's definite. It's a little bit like pigeon sweepings, but it's another story altogether. So yeah, again, we've got bread today, but you could use, if you had some like croissants, or if you had some hot cross buns, or you had sort of obviously a bit of French stick or whatever you had left over, or if you've got fresh stuff, it's up to you.
But you can use stale bread for this, can't you?
Yeah, I mean that's traditionally what it's basically. It's a dish that you would use leftovers with. Right. You know, you'd have some eggs in there, you'd have some milk, and then you'd obviously have some butter in your pantry, just like this. Yep. And it would always traditionally be stale. And again, obviously with bread, there's lots of different things you could do with it. We could make French toast. You could almost dip it. Obviously, you wouldn't add so much milk to this, but you would add eggs, sugar, and then dip your bread in it, and then just fry it off.
Oh, that's lovely. That is French toast.
Yeah, lashings of butter.
Okay.
And then all we're going to do is going to cut that and put it into the dish.
Okay.
And then we're going to cook it. And there's something called a bain-marie. So in other words, in a water bath. And that's how we're going to cook it.
So bain-marie is French, isn't it?
It is. Yep. Bain-marie is French. Yep. Right. Just one more, I think. And then I'm just boiling up some water here. You can have a kettle, and that just helps with the bain-marie. So we add the water to the oven tray, which I'll show you in a second. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself now. Right.
So just to remind everybody, this project uses ingredients supplied by the food bank, so it's what you'd commonly find in a food parcel if you were to receive a food parcel. And really the idea is to just kind of upskill people, everyone, including me. I've learned so much doing this project with you, Anne, just around what to do with some of these ingredients. Sometimes you can run out of ideas and it can feel really stressful. So Anne's project is about just taking the stress out of cooking and putting back in some fun.
I wouldn't always say it's less stressful, even if you're a professional chef in front of the camera. So yeah, I've just nicely layered the bread.
So cut them into triangles and then layered them up.
Yep, and then we're just
going to pour it on.
Pour it on the top.
Oh my God, this looks amazing. And I'm not a fan of bread and butter pudding, but I think because in the past it's had raisins in it. I think that's a big problem for me.
But we won't hold it against it today.
No, we won't.
Especially not. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab a little bit of this once it's cooked in the oven.
Yep.
And then glaze it with this. Or also, again, you could get some brown sugar and then caramelise it like that. But we're not. We are just going to stick to the plan. So, it's me waffling on again. So what we do is we just put our bread and butter pudding in our oven tray.
Yep.
We get our hot water.
Okay. And we're just going to
Put
pour
it
it
everywhere.
in.
And we're going to pour it in there.
Okay.
So we have a heated oven.
Yep.
It's at 170, and
Okay.
this will take about 40 minutes.
Okay.
to cook.
I'm going to come this side just to.
Yep.
So you've poured that into the larger dish, not into your bread and butter dish. That's
Yeah,
important.
that is. Otherwise, it'll be a watery bread and butter pudding,
Oh,
which most probably won't set, unfortunately. So yeah, so we've got 4 whole eggs, 4 egg yolks, 175 grams of sugar. We have 600 mils of milk. Obviously, our bread, butter, and then we're going to finish it off with a bit of love with the breakfast marmalade at the end.
Lovely. Okay.
Right, so in it goes, and I'll see you in about 40 minutes later.
All right.
Happy cooking. Voila. After 40 minutes in the oven, just be very careful.
Oh yes.
Right.
That looks delicious.
So just check it for wiggliness. Yep, that's perfectly cooked.
Okay. So it should be fairly solid.
Yep,
Is what you're looking
yep.
for.
Nice and firm. And then all we're going to do is now glaze the bread and butter pudding
Okay.
with some of this jam out of the pantry. So this is the grapefruit, not jam I should say, sorry, it's marmalade.
And that was in the food parcel.
It was in the food parcel. So we're just going to get a good 2 or 3 tablespoons of that.
And
I've added a little bit of water just so that it melts a little bit.
Yep.
And then we can glaze it. We used to do this traditionally with, if you're making danishes, and you do like an apricot glaze. So we'd do exactly the same thing with that actually.
Okay.
And then glaze the danishes.
Right.
There we go, another little bit of...
Another tip. They're invaluable, honestly. My cooking skills have gone through the roof as a consequence of this series.
And yeah, I remember another chef friend of mine, he used to actually put, rather than glazing it with this, he would actually put a little bit of sugar or brown sugar and then blowtorch it. Or put it under the grill so you get caramelised bread and butter pudding.
Oh, yum.
As I said, there's so many different derivatives with this that you can put in it, you know, rather than you can put your raisins and almonds, and you can put a little bit of alcohol in there if you wanted to, or use a little bit of cocoa powder in the mixture, or chocolate drops. You could even put chocolate drops on the top of it.
That'd be a crowd pleaser with the kids, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Malteser on Baileys.
Oh, stop.
Luxurious. But, to be honest, just a simple bread and butter pudding, even as it is like that, is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this would actually be a bit quicker than this. I thought it would just quickly dissolve and that would be it.
It looks really pretty, whatever it's doing, the bubbles.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for it to do? Thicken up?
Yeah, just thicken up just slightly. I've most probably added a little bit too much water, so again, just maybe a tablespoon of water. I didn't want it. And then all we're going to do now is glaze it. So it gives it that lovely colour, and then obviously their lovely bitterness as well, because you've got sweet eggs and sugar and deliciousness, and then a little bit of savoury. Oh, lovely. Right.
Looks incredible.
So I'm not going to pick it up because I will burn my hands.
Yeah, you will. You will.
But
So.
thanks for today's pantry challenge, and happy cooking. Here's my bread and butter pudding made with love. Enjoy.
Thank you, Anne.